Okay, so good morning. Who do I have present in the class? Can you just say hello on the comments? If you can hear me, just type hello on the comment section so we can proceed. I would love to have the confirmation that you guys can hear me so that our class will not be futile, like uh, fruitless, like yesterday's one. So if you can hear me, please kindly make use of the chat box and say something. Okay, it's 1 minute into the class, and I will be proceeding to what we have today. So, our topic for today is understanding Figma environment and design tools. So, in our previous class on Friday, I asked you guys to sign up on www.figma.com. So, I'm of the belief that by now you have an account with Figma. And if you have done that, I will be sharing my screen for us to proceed to the Figma environment to understand more about it. Also, I'm repeating it again for the last time. Please make use of the chat box and let notify me that you are present in the class and you can see my screen and you can hear me properly so that we'll not waste our time again like we did yesterday. So please kindly make use of the chat box. Say something. Thank you. End up on Figma. By now, this is what your interface should look like. So in yesterday's class, I took time explaining all these things, not knowing that the stream has ended and you guys were not following along. So going over it again, we'll have this Figma interface. When you are done signing up on the Figma interface, this shows the current account you are logged into. And if you have multiple accounts, you get to see them listed below. So the theme is, you can see that my Figma interface is dark. These areas are dark. Why? Because I have set the theme of my Figma to be dark. If you want it light, you set it to be light. So I prefer dark mode. So I'm going to take it back to dark mode, and you can set it to the system theme. Then we have the recent tab. The recent tab shows you the recent Figma files you have made access to or you just finished accessing. So here is the interface and to show you all your Figma works, and you can quickly scroll and revisit any of the Figma files you intend to. Then we have the draft. Draft, we already know what draft is as people that are tech literate. So I won't explain more about that. Then we have the template and tools. So template and tools, quite all right. You get to see Figma samples that other experts, intermediate designers have done, and they have made it free for people to use. Instead of redoing everything from the scratch, you get to utilize what they've done and proceed. So instead of rebuilding or recreating the wheel, you just pick what you want and move ahead. So it saves time and energy. So back to recent. Okay. Wait, let me confirm that my stream is recording. Okay, to avoid. Okay, thank you, Jennifer, Cynthia. You're welcome to the class. So I just needed to ensure that we are not wasting our time like we did yesterday. So moving back to my Figma interface to continue sharing. On the recent, you get to see recent design, FigJam, slides, burrs, site, make, and imports. So, uh, okay, from what I said yesterday, which you guys didn't hear unfortunately, is that in product design, which is UI UX design, we have two types of, like, product design is made up of two roles. We have the UI, which is the user interface, and we have the UX, which is the user experience. So I also said that in developed countries like Europe and America, these two roles have their individual, it's been assigned to different people. But here in Africa, we get to have one person play this, perform these two duties or these two job descriptions. Now we have the UI, which is the user interface, and we have the UX. The UI designer designs what, like, places the circles, the rectangles, the text where he wants, like where he needs it to be. Then the UX designer, which is the person that has the experience of the user in mind, will now follow through to see that he did his research first of all, because everything about product design starts with the UX designer. It is the UX designer that gets into the field to know what the problem of a particular people is. Then, for example, let's say that you are trying to build a mobile app that allows Africans transfer money to their people in America. The US designer comes into the a particular community, a sample community, because you can't go everywhere around Africa. To solve a problem, you start from a smaller unit. Okay, Cynthia is saying something about YouTube training is of the high cost. That's why we have lesser students in attendance. I don't know what this means. Do you mind explaining more? Okay, so I'll explain better on the chat while I proceed with my class. So, when you're trying to solve a problem, you start with a small sample first. You don't go and start trying to solve the problem of the whole world. For example, now we need to build an app that allows people in Southeast transfer money to people in America. Now, you can't just go around the whole Southeast. Let's pick Enugu as an example. And even in Enugu, we need a small group of people to use as a test subject before, when it becomes successful with that particular people, that's when you now take it and start getting more people involved. So the UX designer get to meet a certain group of people and ask them, what are the challenges that you're having? And can you tell me? I'm listening. And in the process of doing this research gathering, we have what we call the design thinking process. So write it down. I would want you to study more about the design thinking process. It's a five-step process that helps in bringing the designs you see, like the mobile app, the website, to life. So the design thinking process starts with understanding the problem first. You must know what you're trying to solve. It can be a new problem, or it can be a problem that has been solved before, but you are creating a new and a better method for it. So everything product design starts with a problem. Either it's a new problem, or it's a problem that has been existing, but they have a solution, but you need to make the solution better. So it's when you understand the problem of the people, you get to ideate. That's, you've done your research, you've heard what the problem is, you get to ideate. In ideating, you're bringing different ideas of, how do I solve this, how do I solve it. You're sketching, you are writing, you are drawing, you are trying to pick out the best solution. So when you've ideated, maybe you've chosen a particular idea that you think suits best, you begin to brainstorm. How do I bring it to life? What do I need? What do I need to do? So what I'm trying to explain now is the design thinking process, and I'm in the third step, which is brainstorming. Then we have the fourth one, which is prototype. In prototype, you have sketched a random frame, and you're trying to test it out to see if it will work. At prototype, that thing doesn't have to be perfect. At prototype, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're just trying to check out if it will work. Then if it will work, you now put in the strength and the effort and the money to make it more better. But in prototype, if you go and Well, in prototype, if you go and invest everything in prototype, all your money in prototype, without even testing if that thing will work, after investing such amount of money, you might find out that it will not work or it has failed. Then all the money and effort will go to waste. So that's why we have Figma. In Figma, we have a certain prototype. We have a prototype setting where you sketch after building a mobile app or a website, you test it out. It doesn't cost money. So it's when you test it out, then you can even get few of your friends to test it on the Figma environment. And if it works, or you also listen to them while they are using it. Some people might complain, the test is too tiny. You write it down, this color is too shouty. You write it. So that is what a UX designer will be doing. The person that would design what it will look like is the UI designer. The UX designer will not be listening to people's input, so that, because after building something beautiful and it's not, people don't like it, it's a waste of time. So you have to ensure that it suits your this thing, your user's need. I can't tell you that I have a problem and you're building another thing for me. I won't use it, and it will lead to waste of time, effort, and money. So I believe you've understood what a UI and a US designer does. But I'm trying to say that in this training or in this design journey, you will be both. You will listen, you will implement, and you will go back and listen again. Because unfortunately, here in Africa, you are a product designer, a combination of both. Or maybe if you're working with Google or WhatsApp and the rest, maybe you can have a very big team and they will allocate the different jobs. You have a UI designer, you have a product designer, someone else that will be overseeing what you and the UX designer is doing to ensure that everything is working hand in hand. You have an interaction designer. An interaction designer is the one in charge of, if I click a button, how does the button react? Maybe the button will change color before it says, okay, good, successful. Maybe if I open a screen, the text will jump up and then say, welcome. So these are all different rules. But in the course of this class, you are going to be everything. So why did I say this and why did I start with this? Because on the Figma file, you have design, you have FigJam. FigJam is an interface that Figma provided so that UX designer, that's the researchers, the user experience designers, can jot down their thoughts, draw their user flow. So write down these words I'm calling: user flow, user design journey, and wireframing. I'm also going to send some write-ups on some instruction on the Discord channel. So these are UX terms, which is user experience terms that you have to, is the theoretical part of product design. Is the theoretical part of product design. So I'll be sending in some instruction on the Discord channel for you to go and study these theoretical parts. It's very important. It will help your design after you've designed it to be useful to the people you are designing it for. Most times people jump into product design and think it's all about Figma, 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 Figma. Figma, Figma, Figma is all about the UI. You are not leaving behind the UX. But these two things, they need to work in hand to ensure that it's really solving the problem you are trying to solve. So let me just quickly show what the interface for FigJam looks like. So this is FigJam. In FigJam, you get to, let's say that of what the mobile app will look like. I'm like, is this going to be a mobile app? Should I do it? Like, I'm still thinking of, like, just like I told you, what's it called? UX design is about the research. Is when you're doing UX design, you haven't decided yet how you're going to solve that problem. So the UX designer has to think which interface is going to be best for these users I'm trying to solve their problem. Should I ask the UI designer to design a mobile app? Should I ask the UI designer to design a website? So why is website better for this group of users? Why is a mobile app a better solution for this group of users? Maybe I'm designing for people that live in a village. I know that they don't have enough money in that village for them to be buying individual phone. Okay, let's start with the first step of creating an internet cafe for these business people, for these village people, where they will have a website, a laptop to access and communicate with their people in America till they start having the educational or the computer literate education to know what a mobile app is and how to access it. And again, maybe they don't have what's it called, internet. So these are the things a UX designer considers to decide a particular solution for a group of users. So all these things I just said, they don't need to be saying it in their head. They need to use Figma to be typing it out, to be writing it out, to be discussing. And because another beautiful thing about Figma is that they did this Figma. We have what we call wireframing. Wireframing is like you sketching out. Let me use this example. You want to build a house. You particularly want to build a house. You are not an architect. We all know that you are not an architect, but you have this idea in your mind that that's what you want your house to look like. Even you yourself, you do wireframing every day. In wireframing, you are in wireframing. In wireframing, you are just sketching out, okay, I want my parlor to be here. I want my bedroom to be here. I want this to be my husband's sports arena. I want my children. So this thing you're doing is wireframing. So we have all done wireframing in our lifetime in one situation or the other. So you are doing wireframing, trying to sketch out your idea, even though you know that you are not an architect. So this is a rough wireframing. But in Figma or in product design, we have two type of wireframing. We have this kind of one, which is the pen and paper wireframing, whereby you can say, okay, I need this mobile app. I want my picture to be here. I want the people to see homepage, uh, account number. Like you are sketching out what you want, even though you are not yet a product designer. Let's just say that you have a mobile app idea that you want a product designer to bring to life for you. You doing this and telling her what you want, or telling the product designer what you want, is you doing pen and paper wireframing. Wireframing is drawing a sketch of the solution that you want to provide. Then we have a high fidelity wireframing. High fidelity wireframing is when you use softwares like Figma to sketch, to draw out what you want, just like I'm doing here. Why is it called why is it called high fidelity? Let's say I have this now and I say, okay, I want my circle to be here. Yes, I want this. I want this arrow to be here. So me doing this now is me doing wireframing, trying to explain to the designer what I want. What is the advantage and the disadvantage of paper and high fidelity wireframing? For paper wireframing, I have it in my book and paper. How do I share it with my team? Let's say I'm working with a team in Europe, I'm working with a team in Ghana. Then I'll come and start snapping picture and tell them this is what I did. It's not professional. But since we are all in the tech field, and for me to show that I'm a professional in what I'm doing, and I know that I'm working with a remote team, I won't be doing pen and paper wireframing. So that's where we need designers to design on Figma, because on Figma, you can share your link. Your teammates in Ghana or in Europe can have access to that thing and be like, okay, let me just change the red. He can also have access to change something on the high fidelity wireframing. But on the paper wireframe that you send to him, he will not have to start doing this thing from the beginning just to make correction. That means either he start drawing his own again, or he will not start following what you did to translate it into a high fidelity wireframe. So you see that we need why we need a high, or why we go for a high fidelity wireframe, especially when you're working with a group of people or a team, is because if they want to make correction, or even you want to make correction, you don't need to come and start drawing again from the beginning. You just need to say, okay, I don't want this circle. You remove it, add what the shape you want. So these are the two types of wireframe. Maybe personally, for me, I can say, okay, let me draw wireframe first. Let me organize my thoughts first before I now put it in high fidelity for my team. So most people like me, I like writing. So I can just write out the ideas on my book first, just to ensure that I have gathered my thoughts before translating it to high fidelity, because I know I am working with a group of people and they might have their own thoughts or ideas. I'll just share the link and give them edit access for them to edit and make changes as they seem fit. So with this example, I have explained better the two type of wireframes. You're still going to make your research on it to have better understanding. But what I'm trying to say is that UX and UI work together. And everything about product design starts with the UX. You have to understand your user's problem. You have to listen to them. You have to ideate, look for different ideas. Is it mobile app? Is it website? Why should mobile like you have to make discussion, and you have to document your design process. And that's why we have FigJam. You write out, you can see the text tool, the shape tool, you can design it however you want. So I'm also asking that you check out videos on YouTube on FigJam and see a lot of things of how they utilize it. So coming back to Cynthia, Cynthia said YouTube training is of high cost, and that's why we have lesser students in attendance. The rate of data is very high now. Some of us are still students, and buying data isn't easy at all. Zoom meeting might be of lesser cost. Okay. Um, what are your thoughts? The people in the class, what are your thoughts, and how can we accommodate them? But also, that's why it's a recorded class. They get to download it at maybe using Night Plan, download it, and because most times, network can be crazy. After having a class on Zoom, uploading might also play its own part. Well, I think if they can't afford to be on the live class, they might have to download it at their own leisure time during the night. So moving forward, we were back to FigJam. So in FigJam, we have this is for the color. So I'm going to tap and change color as I want. Then tap. If I want to change the color of this one, you can see that it's bringing out the color this thing for me to utilize. So in FigJam, you can do a lot of things. So write it down and please follow through. Watch videos on YouTube on how to utilize FigJam. Then on today's class, get so welcome to Figma officially. Then this is the interface. Mine is still loading. Now we have the Figma icon here. When you tap on it, you see options like go back to files. If you click go back to files, it will take you back to where we're just coming from, where we saw the option for recent, FigJam, and this thing. So when you want to go back to your recent to see those tabs and the rest of it, you click go back to recent. Then if you also want to, okay, I think Figma changed something. Before you can also change the color of, like you can also swap the theme. Just like I taught you how to change from dark mode to light mode. Before you could do it here, but looking at okay, it's still here. Okay, so under preference, if you didn't get the opportunity to change from light mode to dark mode, under preference, you see theme, then you can change from light, dark, blah blah blah, and do the needful. So that aside, you also see untitled. Untitled is because currently this page doesn't have a name. So Figma is giving it a default name called untitled. So if I tap on it now, I'll change the name to Figma environment. Now the name of this file is now Figma environment. In the future, if I want to access this file on that recent page, I can just go to the search bar there and type Figma environment, and it will fetch up the name of this file. I can click on it and have access to it once more. Then it's showing that this Figma environment is stored or saved in the draft file, which is a free file, because we are using the free version of Figma. We have the pro version. So the free version is for free. The professional version, you have to pay for it. they have their pecs. Just like for free version, you can't upload video into your Figma file, but on the professional version, you can upload video into your Figma file here in your Figma file. So moving forward now, we have the file, we have the asset. So our major concentration will be on the file right now. Then on the file, we have, because if I click asset, you can see that that page one, page two is gone. We'll talk about assets in the later on. For file, we have page one. I can click on this plus to have page two. So whatever you put in page one will not be seen in page two. Whatever you put in page two will not be seen in page one. So I don't want page two for now. So I will right click and delete page two. So I have page one. Under this page one, the layers is empty because why is this layer empty? Nothing is here. Why? Because there is nothing here. This middle page is empty. I've not put anything there. So when I start putting anything inside this particular place, it will be reflecting, it will be recording that you have put this thing here, oh, you have put this thing here oh, under layers. So layers aside now, this place is the page where you get to work. It is very large, it is very big, this particular place I'm talking about. So currently, it's looking like this place and this place, they are the same color. But this particular page, I can change the color. It's not part of the dark mode and light mode. Now that there is nothing in this page, what is being displayed here on the right is the properties of this particular page. So I need to change it so that it will not be looking dark, dark. So on this page, you can see that the color is 1E, 1E. I can move this toggle around and change the color as I see fit. I'm saying that the light mode and the dark mode thing we did is not affecting it. It's just affecting this place that you have Figma environment and this place that you have this thing. That's where the Figma dark theme has power over. But for this particular middle page, you get to change the color as you desire. Currently, it's showing dark red, this thing, because this toggle here is on dark red. If I move it, it will move according to the color section that I'm currently in. So that is that. And if I want to reduce the opacity is how much of a presence that color is taking, is appearing to be. So if I reduce it, you can see that the color is fading out because I'm reducing the opacity, how the degree to which it appears. So that's what I'm going to stop for now. Then I'm going to take it back to 1E, 1E. I like my 1E, 1E color. So now we are back there. Now, this particular section, this thing that is floating here, is called the toolbar. The toolbar is the work tools you're going to be using to work on the Figma environment. The first one we have is called the move tool. The shortcut to activate it is V. If you click the tiny drop down arrow close to it, you see that the move tool is not the only tool in this family, in this category. It has the move tool, the hand tool, and the scale tool. So we'll talk more about it because without having something in this particular page, you can't utilize these things. So the move tools have to work when you've already imputed something in this space. So in order to do that, we need to either put a frame or a shape. But before we do that, let's see the next two family close to it. We're having a frame, we're having a section, we're having a slice. But I don't want to come to this one yet. Let's talk about the shapes. Let's start from, because I told you in the beginning of our class that we're going to start from the basics. So that even if you don't understand what I'm saying, just follow what I'm saying. Like, even if you don't understand product design or computer or anything, just follow what I'm saying and go with me on the pace with which I'm going so that you don't get lost. So we all know shapes. And I told you in our types of shapes that we have geometric shapes and the organic form shape. So for geometric shapes, it's the rectangle, the mathematical shapes that you know. Here we're having rectangle, ellipse, polygon, star, image. Image is when you bring image into a Figma file, but we're not going to talk about that now. Let's start with the rectangle. So if I tap on rectangle, you can see that my icon has changed, showing me that it is active. So I will hold down my keypad on my laptop and drag. I have created a rectangle. I have created a rectangle. So now that I've created a rectangle, can you see that my move tool is active? You can see Without putting anything here, the move tool cannot do anything. It will just be moving empty space. So now that we have a rectangle, you can see that the layer has recorded that rectangle 1 has been added. Though I have recorded that somebody has entered this room. The person's name is rectangle 1. So now you can also see that the properties here, that thing that was being displayed here, has changed. It now have a lot of information here. Why? Because rectangle 1 is currently highlighted. What do I mean that it is highlighted? Whenever a blue border is around something like this, it means that that thing is highlighted. Just as you can see on the layer, the blue thing on it means that it's highlighted. Now, if I click on this empty space, you can see that the blue thing has all gone, both on the layer and on the shape. And the properties here have gone back to displaying the properties of this empty space. So it means that in Figma, whenever you tap on something and that thing is highlighted, the properties of that thing that is currently highlighted is what Figma will be showing you here. So whenever you click on something and that thing is highlighted, whatever you are seeing here, that property belongs to that current something that is highlighted. So now let's do another shape. We have ellipse. So I'm trying to draw a circle, but this thing is not looking like a circle. It's looking more like an egg, but I need it to be a perfect circle. My hands are still on my keypad, dragging this to make it a circle. But I'm going to shift a finger of mine, my finger, not my hand, to hold down the shift key. So immediately I held down the shift key. You need to see what my hand is looking like now. So immediately I held down the shift key. You can see that it has become a perfect circle. It's no longer doing that egg-like shape it was doing before. So in removing my hand now, I will remove my hand from every other thing I'm holding first, except the shift key. The shift key is going to be the last thing I'm removing my hand from. But if you remove your hand first from the shift key, it will go back to being like egg-like shape. So in drawing a circle and holding down this thing, removing your hand from the shift key should be the last thing you do. There is also another method to get a perfect circle in Figma. So I'm going to get another circle now. You can see that it is not a perfect circle. I've removed my hand. I didn't hold shift key this time around. So it's not a perfect circle, but I need it to be a perfect circle. I'll come back to that. So I'm going to take it away now. I'm going to still make it a perfect circle, but I'll use it to illustrate something. So currently now, nothing is highlighted, meaning that the properties of what I'm seeing here is the property that belongs to this empty big space where we are working. I said that this place is big. I can see as I'm scrolling. I can see as I'm scrolling vertical. I've not even scrolled horizontally. You can see that I've lost water on my hair. I'll have to scroll back again. Then if I scroll vertically, you can see the space is very big. So um, that is what I'm having. The properties of this empty space is what I'm seeing here. Now, I need to see the properties of this rectangle. So I'm going to tap on rectangle. Now, rectangle is now highlighted. Now I'm seeing that this is a rectangle. These are the actions you can take on this rectangle. I can make it a component. I can use it as a mask. I can union. I can edit the object. All these things. But I don't want to take any of this action yet, and I don't want to confuse you guys yet. So just follow me with what I'm doing, so that in the long run you don't get confused. You have to get familiar with this Figma environment first before trying to perform magic. Even in magic, you need to understand the meaning of magic before you start casting spell. So just be patient. These notifications are just okay. So clicking on the rectangle, we have that it's on position under positioning category. Under the position category, we have that this rectangle is on position on the X. In mathematics, we have been taught the X and Y axis. So we have been told that this rectangle is on X position minus 371, and it's on Y position 191, meaning that on this empty space, this rectangle is on this certain position, in respect to this empty space. If I move this rectangle, can see that the position values are changing because I'm moving it. I moved it away from where it was before. So this thing tells you the current position of your object or shape or whatever you have brought into Figma. Then the next one is the rotation. If I rotate it, you can see that my mouse changed. See what my mouse look like. If I come to the edge, my mouse changes. So if I hold down this and drag, you can see that I'm changing the rotation. I'm rotating it. And as it is rotating, the X and Y position is also changing because the rotation of the image or the object is changing. Then, if I don't want to drag and I have a specific value in mind, I can just type it in. So either you drag or you type in the number that you want. Let me confirm that we're still together. And if you have any question, just input it on the chat box. I'll respond to it. Then the next one is this rotation. But this rotation, let's tap on it. Just tap. You can see that it is rotating based on a 90-degree of this thing. So if I tap it on it again, tap on it, you get to change it as you want. Then this one is for flip rotation. Currently, you won't see the effect of this particular one now because we only have white color. In your eyes, you'll be seeing white color. But when we start putting elements inside this rectangle and you flip with this button, you will see the effect. The same way with flipping it vertical. But currently, you won't feel it because you're just seeing a white color and there's no image and there's no different colors inside of this rectangle for you to feel these two experiences we just displayed. Then, going back, the next one is layout. When we talk about layout refers to the width and the height of this shape. Then, if I want to increase the width, either I type in that I want to increase it to 300 if I want that, or I move. Once you bring your mouse, what's the how my mouse is changing? Here it's a pointer. Immediately I came to this, it has become a drag, asking me to drag left or drag right, depending on if I want to reduce the shape size. So I could decide to reduce the shape size or increase it. And I'm saying that you can either type in the value you want or you drag. Then the next one is the height. I can decide to increase or decrease the height. So either you're dragging up or you're dragging down. Then now you can see that let me highlight it again. Now you can see that I did it different. I did for width, I did for height. Maybe I don't have that kind of time and I want the width and the height to either decrease at the same time or increase at the same time. And I don't mind if they have the same value. I don't want it's not my business. I just want to increase them. So it depends on what you're trying to achieve. But I want to do them at the same time. Now, watch this layout. Currently, we have width, we have layout. But once I marry them together, that is link them together. Can you see that this bridge has been created amongst them? Let me unlock them. That means I have to do them separately. Let me lock them and marry them together. It means that as I'm increasing the width, can you see that the height is also increasing? As I'm increasing the width, the height is also increasing, meaning that both of them are locked together. Also, let's say that they have the same value, 282, and I decide to lock them also and increase them at the same time. Wait, let me remove this. So now they have the same shape. They have they have the same 282. So now they have the same values and I lock them together. That means if I'm increasing, they are increasing together. But remember that in mathematics, when something have the same width and height, it is what? A square. So basically, I've created a square. It's no longer a rectangle. It becomes a rectangle when they don't have equal width and breadth. But it's because it's a square currently because the width and the height are the same. But I just wanted to show you what the aspect ratio does, that it helps you increase the width and the height at the same time without you having to do them individually. So the next thing we have there is appearance. What is appearance? Appearance is the degree to which an element is visible. So currently we are seeing this because it is at 100. If I reduce it, if I reduce the appearance, you can see that it is fading out. I'm reducing the appearance. So I've reduced it to 0 and it has faded out. Then I need to bring it back to 100. So these are the things you can do on appearance. The next thing that we have there, okay, before we talked about the opacity, let's talk about this eye icon that is close to appearance. So the eye icon is used for you to hide something. You don't want to delete that thing, but you don't want to see that thing. So you just hide it. If I tap hide, can you see that it is being hidden? But this blue mark is telling me that it is still there, oh, but you've hidden it. Now, now that I've hidden it from this appearance side, can you see that on the layer where I have rectangle 1, it is also blinded? Meaning that for me to hide something, I can hide it from the layer I can hide it by clicking on the eye icon on the layer, or I hide it by clicking on the eye icon on the appearance. So remember that I hid it from here, but I want to unhide it from here. So meaning that I am at liberty to use any of the eye icon I want to use. Okay, on this layer also, we have the padlock icon. If I tap on it, it renders my move tool. That is the first tool, the tool we're using to move things around. It renders it useless because I no longer move it because I have locked that layer. You've locked a room and you want to enter the door the way you used to enter. It's not possible. You have to either unlock it or you leave it locked. So now I'm going to click here to unlock it. Now I have unlocked it. Now my move tool is now useful again. It can now move that thing around. So be mindful. Most times you might not even know that you've tapped for beginners while trying to get used to the Figma environment. You might mistakenly just lock it up, and then you see yourself trying to drag, and you tell me it's not dragging or it's not moving. So you have to be mindful. That is why I'm taking my time to explain these things and the consequences, so that time you'll be using to feel more frustrated, I can reduce it to a certain degree. So be mindful of the eye toggle, be mindful of the lock toggle. So back to appearance. Then in appearance, looking at this rectangle, the edges are too sharp. Depending on the feel I'm trying to create in my design, I don't want it to look sharp and too serious. I want to give it a friendly curve. This is where you do it. After appearance, this corner radius. So in corner radius, I can drag or I can type in the value that I want, 12. Now you can see that the corners of this rectangle is now curved. It's more friendly, and that's how I want it to be. Then let's say that I don't want all the 4 corners to have curved areas. So I'm going to click on the individual corner icon. So you can see individual corner. If I tap on it, you can see that every corner has 12, 12. But I don't want that. I want 50, 50. I want 50 for this. I want 0 for this. I want 0 for this. Then I want, okay, 50. Then I want 50 for this. Okay, no, I have to swap it. 50 for this, 0 for this. So I want something like this, yeah. So you can see how I have given individual corner radius values to each of the sides. So that is that. That is the way you can change and alter and play around with the corner radius. Then the next one we have there is the fill. Please pay attention to the fill. The fill is where you input or change colors. Currently, the fill of this particular shape is D9, D9, D9. In design, there's nothing like it is a red color, it is a pink color, it's a gray color, it's a tomato red, vein green, green, it's a cockroach brown. There's nothing like that in design. You must know that color's name. So to dig deeper into colors, we are going to click on this box icon in front of this field. So currently, we know that this rectangle has a color fill called D9, D9, D9. That is the name of this color. Now, to explain more about color family, we have what we call solid color. So see, solid color is the presence of only one color. Solid color is the presence of only one color. Then we have gradient color. If I tap on the gradient, you can now see that we have D9, D9, and 7373 present as the fill of this shape. So gradient is the presence of two or more color. We're still going to come to that. So let me just go back to solid and explain more things there. So under solid color, I can move this toggle around and choose any of the color shade I want. Now, in color, we have what we call color tint. Please be writing down. I hope you have your book and paper. We have color tint, which is Tint. We have color tone, which is Tone. In a layman's this thing, let me put it this way, that I have a white color and I want it to become red. That white color, I'll be adding red, 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 red. Before you know it, that white color is gone. I only have red. That means I have toned that color. I toned it to become red. Then let's say I have red color and I want it to become white. I will be adding white, white, white inside that red color. Before you know it, the red color is gone. I now have only white. I can say I tint that color. I tint it, meaning I was applying white, 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 white till I lost the original color that was there. So now, let me also explain it in this direction. If you watch this color box that has different colors, watch the movement of my arrow. You can see that from here, this color went from being red, dark. In fact, went from being dark red to red to red to red to different shades of red until it went to white. So I can say it tinted. Then from that white side, see how this color was toning till it became dark red. I can say it's toned. You are at liberty to research and read more on it. Now, the next thing is this particular shade of red. You can see that for example, now watch. You might think that the color here and the color here is the same thing. Let me just move it. In your eyes, you think it's the same thing, but it's not the same thing. You can see that the name of this particular shade is called 8B2523. Just close to it, I just moved it just a little bit close. Can you see that the name has changed to 8B2826, meaning that these colors are not the same. In your eyes, you might think they are the same because it's looking faded, but they are not. Every pixel that makes up this color swatch has their unique color names. So that's why I said in design, we don't have something like red, blue red, pink red. No, we don't use those terms. We use what we call the hexadecimal color code. Hexadecimal is spelled as Hexdecimal. Hexa. Then the decimal. We all did decimal points in primary school or in mathematics. Now, watch the hexadecimal. But before we talk about that, remember that I said you can move these things to give you the particular color family that you want. Remember that we started out in red. This is purple. This is another red. This is blue. This is teal. So you are at liberty to move this toggle to the particular color family that you want to use. And this one, underneath it, is basically controlling the opacity of the fill. Remember that we did something like this on the appearance. The one on the appearance affects the appearance of the layer carrying that shape. This one is affecting the fill in an image. I'm trying to differentiate this so that you don't get confused or do something else. The appearance on is you. It's just like I have this book and I'm fading out everything in this book. So the appearance on is dealing with everything inside this book. But the fill on, let's say I now open this book and this place is what's it called? As you can see, it's brown. This is my own D9. So the this particular opacity I'm doing is affecting this place, but the one in appearance is dealing with the entire book. I hope that was well explained. So whenever you're doing for this one, you're dealing with that color, the color inside the shape. Then now let's talk about the color codes. Remember that I talked about the hexadecimal. We also have the RGB, the CSS, the HSL, and the HSB. So what does this mean? Your name is uh, Amaka. Now, in hexadecimal, your name is Amaka. Then in RGB, Amaka means 191393838. This thing. So it's basically just like saying, my name is Amaka in Igbo. My name is, you translate Amaka in Yoruba, you translate Amaka in Hausa, you translate Amaka in Korean language. So that is what this color code is doing. It's the same color, but it's telling you the name of that particular color in these color code languages. So in hexadecimal, this particular color that is being highlighted is called 8B2626, and the opacity is 67. You can type in the opacity here to be 100, or you use this thing and drag it to 100. So you can either type in the value of opacity that you want, or you use this toggle and drag the opacity to where you want the opacity of the fill to be. Now, this hexadecimal, let's talk about hexadecimal. In your mind now, you think you can do something like, let's say, let me forge a hexadecimal number. Don't ever do anything like W34RT22. It will never work. Can you see it? It didn't work. Why? It immediately converted to a different number, giving me 34, 34, 34, 34. It is like that because the hexadecimal color code was formed from alphabets A to F and from numbers of 0 to 9. So there is no way you will ever have a hexadecimal color code that have W or G or I or S or Z in it. It is not possible. It can never, under the surface of this earth, it's not possible. You can forge your hexadecimal color code within this limit of letters from A, B, C, D, E, F. It stops at F. You can see F1, 3, 2, yes. With any alphabet after F to Z, you can never find a hexadecimal code that has any of those alphabets in it. Then you can have A, 2, B, 2, 2, 4. I'm just forging, but anytime you forge, like, I'm not saying you should forge, but I'm just trying to tell you that whenever you impute any mixture of hexadecimal code, it will always fall between A to F and 0 to 9. Then if it's, let's say that I just decide to go crazy and just forge. Let me forge A, 2, 3, D, 1, 1. Let me see if there's a color like that. You see? It is. There is. So it immediately has fetched A23D11, which falls under the orange family. So now if I forge anything that has Z or W, or it will never work because it was intentionally done. The hexadecimal color code is a combination of alphabets from A to F and 0 to 9. So now this A23D11, this is the name in hexadecimal color code. But I want to know what the name is in RGB. So in RGB, RGB stands for red, green, and blue. It is telling me that this orange color in RGB is showing that it has 162% of red, 61% of green, and 17% of blue. The combination of this RGB is what the value, these individual values of RGB is what makes up this red color, this orange color in the RGB color code. Then 100 is telling me that it's currently in the highest opacity, so it's very clear. It has reached its 100, like it's very clear. But if I want to reduce it, can you see? It's telling me that these are the numbers, but in terms of opacity, it is at 58% opacity. So now I want to know the meaning of this color in CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. If you're a front-end developer, you must have come across HTML, CSS. So we have cascading style sheet. If I tap on it, it's telling me that this same color, the name in CSS is RGBA, meaning red, green, blue. The A is opacity. If you're a developer, this is what you are going to use to develop. Because Figma has a design interface for designers, and when a designer is done designing and send the link to a developer and they tap that they are a developer from their own end, Figma translates your design to them in their developer language for them to understand. So most times, most of them prefer to go with this. So it's telling me that in CSS color code, let me ensure that I'm still speaking with you guys. Okay. Thank you, Cynthia. So in CSS, it's telling us that this color has 162% of red, 61% of green, and 17% of blue, and has a 1 in CSS. CSS doesn't calculate opacity as 100. It calculates opacity as 1. Then anything less than 1 is like you reducing it from 100 to 0. So in CSS, I'm going to tell it that I need the opacity to be 0.5. Can you see it has reduced it? So in CSS, you are dealing with 1 as the highest opacity. Anything lower, you just do 0 points. You start adding your numbers. Then the next color model or color language is the hue, is the HSL, which stands for hue, is spelled as HUE, saturation and lightness. Lightness is the light of the world. So hue, saturation, and lightness. Tap on it. It's telling me that this color has 18% hue, 81% saturation, and 35% light. The same thing as opacity. So I won't be talking much about opacity anymore because I believe you should understand what the 100% is all about. It's different opacity. Then the next one is HSB, which is hue, saturation, and brightness. This girl is so bright. Bright, like bright. Instead of the other one is light, this one is bright. So we have hue, saturation, and brightness. So depending, if I want to change the color, I can say, let me put 24 and see what it gives me. Can you see that 24 gives me a different shade of this blue? Let me change the saturation, 44. It gives me a different variation of this color. So this is what the color hexadecimal color code is all about. But designers, it's advisable to just stick to your hexadecimal while developers find their way with their CSS and the rest of them, depending on the one they want to work with. Then, I think that has explained that. Then on this page, because this is a new page, these are the colors I have used so far. So whenever you use any color, Figma will be storing it for you underneath here in case you want to use that color again, so that you don't come and start, maybe you've forgotten the color code and you don't want to stress yourself much. Figma will just be saving it here for you. And when you come back, just tap, select what you want to change the color, come back here, you will see it, just tap on it and proceed. Now, moving up, remember that I talked about solid color is the presence of only one color. Gradient is the presence of 2 or more colors. Now, when you click on gradient, the color changes. Now, we can see that we have linear. Linear is a type of gradient color. Under gradient, we have linear gradient, radial gradient, angular gradient, and diamond gradient. So currently, what we have activated is a linear gradient. Then this toggle is for flipping the gradient. You can see that the dark one is underneath now and the light one is up. I can just tap on flip and it flips it. So depending on the style I want to give my color gradient, I'm at liberty to do that. Then the next one is rotation. I want to rotate the gradient, find the one that suits my need. Now, the now is, remember that I said that gradient is the presence of two or more colors. So I can have thousands of colors in one particular shape. So now I can tap anywhere on this thing. I can tap anywhere here and the new gradient will be added. I can tap, 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 tap. Colors will be added. Like colors will be added. So let me just quickly delete. The minus button allows you delete. So now I have this. Let me drag this thing back to the edge. So now I have this. If I don't want to tap and add from this place, I can tap from this plus icon. So I'm at liberty to do it from here or do it from here. Now, also remember that the gradient mustn't be from the same family of color. Because currently, if I look at this, I'll just say this is lavender or purple. I'm just saying purple. But I want to spice things up. Either I tap from any of these boxes that is here, or I tap from any of these boxes here. So if I tap here, it will now open the solid color palette that we're used to, where I get to choose the color, family color I want to use. So I'll just tap back on this. If you just tap back, you'll come back to where you were. So you don't have to panic when it closes. Then remember that I said I can do it from here or I can do it from here. And I will change my color. The same thing, if I decide to change the color, I'll change my color. Then currently the opacity is at 58. Let's see if we can increase it. You see, we can increase it. The stops, let's see. You see? So what I just did was give this particular second color more power because this other one was only at 100. This one was around 50 something. Let's take it back to 51 again. Can you see? This particular side, this particular value handles the opacity of individual colors. So you can see that if I add 100 here, on this one that is 64, it's at its highest peak. But for this particular side, they are overthrowing, this particular side is dealing with how much they are going to appear. Like three of them are on the same line, just like as we've seen here. You can see that here, three of them are on the same, they are occupying the same space. Sorry, they are on the horizontal distance, but they each have a certain percentage of space they are occupying. So that's why the first one, which is the red, because it's the first color, it is occupying 100% gradient. You can see it, gradient top position. So it is occupying 100. This second color is occupying 51%, and this one color is occupying, this third color is occupying 1% of the total space. Then if I go and give this second color the same 100, it will push out the one underneath. It has pushed it out because in terms of hierarchy, in terms of how they are stacked, you can see that the red is here and the green is on top of it and the blue is on top of, the purple is on top of it. So anyone that is on top has power over the one underneath. The same thing to the layers where they are stacking. Anyone on top shows that is on top and others are underneath it. So if I don't want that, that means I have to be mindful of the percentage I am giving them. I have to be mindful of the percentage I'm giving them. So let's take the third one too. Can you see? The third one has also flushed out that. And you can see that immediately I gave this third one 100, it came down for that smaller one to go up because this one also now has a bigger percentage. But if I take it back to 1, let's see, it takes it up again because This is the one underneath is the grandmaster. Like, I'm the first person to occupy this room. The second one on underneath, the third one, like just like roommates. I don't know if you understand the analogy. Then the next one we have is radial. Let's see what the color looks in radial. Let's see what the color looks like in angular. So in angular gradient style, we have this. In diamond gradient style, we have this. Also, I can drag this top. Remember that if you tap on any one, currently there's a blue line. Then if I tap on this one, the blue line appears. I can drag it to occupy. The more you drag it, you're watching the value here. It's telling you that it's occupying less or it's occupying more. So this method of dragging from here, I can drag from here also. Sorry. So I can drag from here also. Here you can see that if I'm coming close, my mouse is showing me, is my mouse is turning to rotation icon. So I can either rotate, or if I move closer, you can see that my icon has changed to all this cross-like icon. So you have to be conscious of what your icon is looking like to know what action you are taking at that point in time. So this one is telling me that I can move. The other one is telling me I can rotate. So if I hold down my mouse and drag, you can see that I am dragging, I am moving. So this particular one I'm doing is just based on the style, the rotation, this rotation that we did here. I'm rotating the gradient, I'm dragging it to give me a specific feel that I want it to give me. So it's not basically dealing with the amount of position it's occupying. No, it's dealing with how I have rotated it so far and how I want it to be. So that is what gradient is all about. Then if I want to flip the color, I can flip the color, which I've told you can do from here. Then if I want to rotate it more, you're at liberty to do that. Then the next thing we have is pattern, which of course you've seen Figma imputing a default pattern to it. Then let's say that I don't want solid color, I don't want gradient color, I don't want pattern, I want an image, maybe a picture of me, a picture of something I designed, a picture that I want to convey the message that I want to convey. So once I click on image, it will ask me to upload image from my laptop. So if I click open the computer, I'll tap the image that I want, and I'll have it inside this thing, what's it called? The shape. Now that I've imputed an image, this is the image properties. So the image properties is telling me that the image is currently in the fill position. I can make it fit into the image. But in fitting, you can see that it's leaving an empty space inside the image. So let me do cropping. Cropping, you can see that the image, the shape is even bigger than the image. So I have excess space from the shape. So I just have to hold down and drag it to fit the image properly. Then I can do cropping, I can do tiles. Tiles is just me having multiple of such image in that shape. Now, you can't see it properly because the tile percentage is at 50. Let me do 12% and you see what happens. This is what tiles is all about. Let me do 3% and you see what tiles is all about. It's all about duplicating that images. Then depending on the how you want it to appear, it's been determined by the percentage you have imputed. So if I do 100, it will just give me only this. And it's giving me only this because of the size of my shape. If I create a very big rectangle now, you can see that 100 will also be done properly. But that aside, you can play around at your own leisure time. Then remember I talked about video. Had it been it was a played version, I would have gone to my system, click here to take me to my system. I'll impute a video, and my video will be playing inside this rectangle. But because it's a free version, I can't do that. So with that, we can say a quick bye to Phil. That was a lot, and I believe I explained it properly to the best of your understanding. Then for Phil, remember that we've done the solid color, the gradients, everything, blah, blah, blah. But there's another method I can decide to create my color from. On the fill, we have the blind icon, we'll have the minus icon if you want to remove the fill. Then on the fill also, I can add another color layer, color layer, color layer. And you can see that by default, Figma is adding 00, because in hexadecimal color code, 000 into 6 is black. And another thing you should bear in mind in hexadecimal color code is that every hexadecimal color code must be 6 characters. Or any color that is more than 6 characters in hexadecimal is not complete. Any color that is less than 6 in hexadecimal is not complete. So if you check all the hexadecimal color code, is always 6. So 000 into 6 is pure black. 0 F F F F F, that is F into 6, F like fish. F into 6 is pure white. So if I don't want, I can just type FFF into 6. It will give me pure white. So you can see what Figma did. It overrode, because it's in highest opacity of 100. It has overridden every other thing that was there. Now, what this thing does not mean that this is a gradient. This is not a gradient. If you want to do gradient, you do gradient the way I asked you to do gradient. This is just like I have a red shirt, I carry pink shirt, I carry blue shirt. So I'm just stacking my shirts together. This is just like this particular thing I'm doing is just like that. But gradient is like I have white shirt, I carry pink color, I poured on the white shirt. I carry red, I pour on the white shirt. I carry black, I pour on the white shirt. That is what gradient is like. This particular one I'm doing is just like I'm folding my shirt. I fold my red shirt, I fold my pink shirt, I fold my green shirt. That is what this particular one is like. So I'm trying to use things that you're common with to ensure that you don't overthink this and you don't get yourself wrapped up in confusion. So this is just like folding my shirts and stacking them together. So that is that. And I can delete them by clicking on the minus icon, and I can blind each shirt, like each colors. I don't want to delete them, but I don't want to see them. I can just blind it. So you can see that what I'm seeing now is only this last column. So the next thing we have here is stroke. Stroke is the border. So currently you can't see the stroke because the size of the stroke is small. I'm having the stroke at 1. So if I come here and type 12, can you see that the stroke is now more visible for you to see? Even that time it was at 1. I can't see it because it's in dark color, and my page color is also in a dark color. So either I change this thing to a bright color to see my stroke properly. So there are different solutions to it. Either I change my page color to a light color for me to be able to see my page color back to the dark mode. Or what I can do is tap on the shape. Remember that I told you for you to edit any shape or work on any shape, you must select it for the properties of that shape to appear and give you access to you for you to edit and do whatever you need to do. So either I change the color of my page or I change the color of my stroke. So you don't have to think too much about it. You either choose one. Either you're increasing the size of the stroke or changing the color of the page or changing the color of the stroke. So for just to ensure that we're all seeing what I'm doing properly, I'm going to increase the size of the stroke. So now that I've increased the size of the stroke, we have that the stroke color is in white. I can give it red, I can give it gradient, ingredients, just like we've done in fill. So I don't think I should waste much time here anymore because we've seen how to deal with what's it called, gradients, and you're at liberty to change color as you seem fit. So just playing around and get familiar with it. So for the stroke also, you can do gradients, you can do pattern, you can even do image. If it's image you want to use as stroke, just make sure that what you're doing is making sense, not just go around and be creating designs that are scary. Don't scare people with your designs. So I'm just trying to tell you how to get creative and make things unique and stand out. Then, now we've talked about, you can even re-impute the color for. Okay, so now we have this now. We're coming back to that. Then we have image is telling us that the image opacity is at 100. Remember, sorry, the stroke opacity is at 100. So now if I reduce the stroke opacity to 24, can you see that it's only affecting the stroke? It's not affecting the fill. The fill is the green color inside. The stroke is that boundary outside. So if I blind the stroke now, you can see that it's still not affecting the fill. Now let me take the stroke back to 100 and I blind my fill. Can you see that my stroke is still existing without my fill? So I can have stroke without a fill. I can have fill without a stroke. So right now, I don't have any fill because I blinded it. It's just as the same thing like deleting it. Then for my stroke, I can reduce the opacity to 12. Remember, I'm reducing the opacity of the stroke, not the appearance of the layer. I told you that this appearance is dealing with, just like container, it is crashing everything the container is housing. So appearance opacity affects everything that belongs to that particular thing, both the layer or like it's just like the book, it's crushing everything together. But the fill opacity is affecting only that fill inside it. Then the stroke opacity is affecting only the stroke. But the appearance opacity is affecting everything from A to Z, even here, even here, even here. But this one is affecting only the fill. This one is affecting only the stroke. So now, moving to the stroke, I can have multiple stroke, just like I can have multiple fill, just like I'm stacking my shirts. So I can have another stroke, have another stroke, just be adding, depending on the kind of design feel you want to create. So the next one we have Control Z. If I just detect something I want, Control Z, I have it back. So if you are using a MacBook, it's Command Z. So I just did Control Z to get back what I just mistakenly deleted. So currently, we are seeing that this stroke, the position of this stroke is an inside stroke. So I'm going to click this and do center stroke. You can see center stroke. I want to do outside stroke. You can see what my outside stroke is doing. So I'll just reduce this thing properly to 12. Then the next thing we have there is the advanced stroke setting. So if I tap on it, we have that we have the dynamic category, the brush, the basic, and the rest of it. So currently, let me just take this stroke back to a normal stroke. Let me remove the ambiguity of using image. Mhm. So now we have a normal color so that we don't get carried away with what the image is doing. So we have the basic. We have a solid line, just like we have solid color, we have a solid line. Solid line is just a straight line. Then we have a dashed line. When a line is this way, we say it's a dashed line. Like in Photoshop, we also have a dotted line. When a line is made of dots, we say it's a dotted line. But in Figma, they just made provision for solid and dashed. So this is a solid line, and the width is a normal straight line that we know. Here you can change the style of the solid line. These are all new features in Figma. If you're watching older YouTube videos that are 2 years, 3 years, 6 years backwards, you might not be seeing these features there because these are new features on Figma. So basically, Figma is asking you to get more creative with your design, and they are here to ensure that you do that without stressing much. So these are the styles of solid line you can have depending on the style. It just depends on how your creativity is driving you and what you intend to achieve. So we have this, we have the joint. What do you want the joints to look like? You can see how this particular joint thing shaped this particular side. You can make it smooth. So when you hover, you can see the name round, you can see the name beveled, you can see the name meter. So depending on the feel you want to give your design. So that is that. But why I came to this solid is to show you what happens when a stroke is outside and inside. So let's move it to inside. Let's move it to, sorry, let's move it to inside. Let's move it to center. In your mind now, you think that this shape is increasing and decreasing in size. No. Let me take it to dashed so that you see what was actually happening. So currently it's on center and you can see where it is. Let's take it to inside. You can see where it is. Let's take it to outside. So when it is in solid, you might just think, for beginners, they might just think the shape is changing style. But now that I've put it in dashed, you cannot feel and see what was actually happening. That it is not changing size, it was just changing the position at which the stroke is being placed. So let me take it back to solid. Beautiful interface feature in Figma that they added. So let's say that I'm displaying on a website the pictures of the board of directors. So instead of the normal boring solid circle, solid line we used to have, Figma is telling you that you are free to go crazy. They've made provision for dynamic borders. You can see. And if I want to increase the frequency, I can increase the frequency of these dynamic rough edges. So you can see Figma is ensuring that you design and get to straighten out the koi. You can see how it's behaving. So your own end, you are free to do that. You can see how it's behaving, and you choose the value that actually conveys the message you want to put out there. So that is that. And then for smoothing, you are smoothing out the edges to ensure that it's looking good. So feel free to play around. Then the next one is brush. So for brush, I'm really excited about this new Figma. So we have spaghetti. You can see the names. The names are funny. And just play around. Rom-com, melody. Already addicted to Figma. That will keep being more addicted to Figma. Because Figma is not the only software you use in product design. We have Adobe SD, we have Sketch, we have I've forgotten because I really don't care about it. Figma has been my go-to from the day one. So if you want to explore more, you can check out Adobe SD, check out Sketch. But ever since I started, I've been a Figma fan and I don't even want to stop. So the next one we have is, if you're going for the brush, you get to choose the style that you want. And as you're hovering, it's changing. So when you see the one you like, you can just tap and activate it. So I can just tap and say, this is the one I want, or whatnot. Then you can change the direction. You can see how the direction is changing. You can see how the direction is changing. So depending on your style, during the advanced setting, let's talk about. So I don't want the stroke everywhere on my shape, just like we did in corner radius. I'll just click on individual stroke. I only want stroke on the I want stroke on the bottom. I'll put stroke on the bottom. I want stroke on the left. I'll just click left. It will do the needful. But in a situation whereby I want only top and bottom, I'll now click custom. So in custom now, I'm telling it, it's giving me, it's showing me the value, the positions and the values. So I want stroke on the left and right. And if I don't want the stroke size to be equal, I can just change the value. 8. This one is 8. The other one is 12. So just play around. If you want them in everything, just give them their individual uh, values. Like if I want stroke everywhere, but I don't want the size of the stroke to be the same, I'll just do that. I'll just do that. Let me here 4, maybe here 0.5. So you can see I have 12, 8 for 0.5. So depending on the style of how you want this thing to be, you are at liberty to design. Just to ensure that what you're designing is making sense. Then now we can say that I have successfully given you a rough understanding of what the design properties are. Remember, if I click on circle, I'll have the properties of circle and I will change it as I want. I will change it as I want. I will give it stroke. I will give it stroke. I will increase the stroke the stroke size. So now for circle, if you look at the circle, you can see that the circle has this arc. If I tap on the arc and drag, I can break up this circle. So most times you see arc, let me delete this stroke so that you see properly. So you see people creating a lot of things out of these things. People can create cartoon that has open mouth. People can create fish that have open mouth. So these are just what you get to experience in Figma. Then here, once I open the arc up, here I can rotate. I'm just rotating. Then here you can see sweep. This is start. The start helps you to just rotate it. This one is sweep. Sweep helps you expand the divide. So if you want to create pie or you want to create an illusion of pizza, you can just do this and then duplicate it. And to duplicate in Figma is Control D. Control D helps you duplicate. Now I have 2 of this. So what I just need, I'm now Control D again, Control D again, Control D again. So in fact, I can say I've created, what's it called? I've created a fan. So I can either call it a fan, or if I keep designing it, I've created pizza. And before you know it, you guys will be ordering from me. So these are just a lot of things you can create in Figma. So with that being said, let's talk about other shapes and then we could. I think I've spoken for more than 1 hour now. Okay, 1 hour and we are not even done. Okay, so let me just quickly rush over other shapes. Then the next one we have is polygon. Polygon, under polygon, we have triangle, hexadecimal, pentagon, all those things. So in order to do that, I'll click polygon and just drag. Now I want a perfect, because looking at the values, you can see that the width and the height of this my rectangle, of this my triangle is not equal. I'm having 174 by 162. So if I hold down shift key, I'm still drawing on. So I've not released my hand yet. If I hold down shift key enables me have a perfect rectangle. And I think what we call this rectangle is equilateral triangle. Yeah, equilateral triangle is a triangle that has equal sizes, meaning that now that I've held down my shift key, I have gotten an equilateral triangle. So I'll release this other hand, release my other hand, and the shift key will be the last thing I remove my hand from. So now that I have a rectangle, a triangle rather, but actually, what I wanted to draw is not a rectangle, but what I have in Figma here is a polygon. So how do I now draw a hexad or like other forms of polygon, hexadecimal, pentagon, octagon, and now I've already drawn a triangle. But what I want to draw is a hexagon, sorry. Hexadecimal color code is contradicting what I'm saying. So what I need to do is come here. When you come here, you can see that the arrow, your cursor has changed, and it's telling you that we have count 3, meaning that you've created a polygon with 3 counts. And a polygon with 3 counts is what? A triangle. Though if I hold down and drag, if I hold down my cursor and drag, you can see that it is forming other shapes for me. count of 9, count of 10, count of 13, blah, 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 count of 60. When it gets to count of 60, it goes back to a rectangle. So if it's reaching count of 60, a polygon with 60 side is called what? If you know what a polygon with 60 side is called, let me know in the comment section. So you can see that we are now creating other forms of polygon. So this is how you create them. And again, if I want them to have corner radius, remember that we said you can do corner radius from here. But if I don't want that, I'll just come here and drag. Even circle has this, even rectangle has this. Let me go to rectangle. So in rectangle, you can see that we have the corner radius thing. So either I do the corner radius from this appearance side, or I come to the shape. I come to the shape, tap on it and drag. You have to tap on the circle, because if you don't tap on the circle, Figma might just think you're moving. I've tapped on it, then I'll drag, so that Figma will know the side it's working on. And you can see that it is only working on this particular side. Every other side in the shape is still intact because I didn't click on them. So let me try doing for others. So that means I will tap here and hold down Shift key and come here, tap here with the Shift key still held down. I'll drag. You see that it's still not working. So either you do it that way or you come to appearance and impute the values that you want. So there are a million ways to kill a rat. Then the next one we have is star. So for star, I'll click on star and drag. But my star is not giving me a perfect star. I'm having 100 by 166. I'll hold down my shift key. Just like I draw a perfect circle, you hold down shift key to draw a perfect shape. Then I'll remove my hand, and remove from the shift key last. Please always remember to remove from the shift key last so that it doesn't take the thing back to being a slanty or squashed. Then remember I said I will turn this thing to a perfect circle, even though I've drawn it already. So what I just need to do is tap on it, come to the layout, and give it equal numbers. And now I have it as a perfect circle. So even if you've made a mistake of drawing the thing and the thing is not perfect, it's like the width and the height are not equal, you can just come here and type in the values and Figma will straighten it out. So now I've drawn a star. I'm back to star. And remember that as I'm tapping on a circle, the properties of circles are being displayed. If I come back to star, the properties of stars are being displayed. So now that I've clicked on star, it's telling me that this is star. This is the values. We've talked about the X and Y position. We've talked about the rotation. We've talked about the rotation. We've talked about the flip. Okay, remember that I talked about this flip earlier. So let's experiment the flip with this particular shape. So if I click on the flip now, the flip is this notification free me now. Can you see how it's flipping it? So that's why I said then, because we only have D9 as the color. Even though it was flipping it, you will not be experiencing it properly because there is no distinctive difference that will help you see what was happening. But if you look at this now, you can see how this flip is working. You can see how it's changing. Let me even change the color to gradient so that you see it properly. So now that we have this, let's go back to that flip. If you flip, you can see how it's flipping. You can flip horizontal, you can flip vertical. So that aside, I've explained it now. So let's go back to the star. So for the star, we have this, but I don't want a star with 5 sides. Let's say I want a star with 6 sides. What I just need to do is come to the count, hold down, drag up. So for people that are Catholics, they will say this is sacrament. So you can do that. Then you can also count down. Then also you can drag the ratio, hold down, drag in. Then you can also drag out. So in dragging out, you are almost creating something that looks like a polygon. In fact, you're creating a polygon this time around. This. Then to give it a corner radius, you can drag it in. So if you are trying to create illustrations for a microbiologist, you can use this to create what an amoeba will look like, paint it, color it, shape it very well. And you're already creating shapes that will be useful to students in biology or chemistry to help them visualize what they're doing properly. So I can either do that using any of these node points, or here under appearance, for this particular shape, under appearance, you see that it has six sides. I might say, no, I don't want it to have six sides. I want it to have four sides. No, I don't want it to have four sides. I want it to have 12 sides. Okay, now I don't want the corner radius to be curvy. I want it to be sharp. I'll put zero. I want it to be sharp. Now I don't want the ratio to be 37. I want the ratio to be 12. No, I don't want it to be 12. I want it to be 36. So you're at liberty to play around and do whatever you need to. And for the stars, just like we did for the fill, you are free to impute, you are free to do color, gradient, radial, whatever. Like play around, explore, and you have everything at your fingertips. So most people don't use Figma to do mobile app and websites. Most of them just create all these fancy shapes and put it out there to help graphics designers, to help people do presentation properly, and the rest of them. So these are the things you can do in Figma. Now, image and videos. So I want to bring in an image into Figma, but I don't want it to be image to be here, just like these shapes are here. So what I just need to do is come here, click image and videos, then tap and then open. Then if I tap and open, my mouse has the image. It's asking me where do I want it to be placed. So I can just tap anywhere and say place here, and it will place. So now you can see that I brought in an image into Figma. I didn't put an image inside a shape. The one we did before was putting an image inside a rectangle. But this one is I want it to exist inside Figma and not inside a shape. Okay, I think we'll have some questions. And we have, okay, hi, good morning, Ma. You're a great teacher. Thank you very much, Cynthia. Can I download and use Figma in my phone? Cynthia, you can't use Figma in your phone. You need a laptop. You need a laptop, and that's the honest truth. Then, with this lecture, it is safe to say that a product designer can also do web design and graphics design. Yes, Amara, just like I said, you can. Everything is possible. But I'm just trying to show you that it's possible, and I'm not trying to jump pack, because graphics design and product design, they are similar, but they also deal with different things. So I'm just trying to ensure that you have a base knowledge of what design is all about, because product and graphics, they are both the same, they fall under the same family, and they solve problems. Just that graphics cannot move and talk like product design does. Your flyer cannot talk, while mobile apps can help you solve problems. That's just the difference. Then Onyemara said, she said, you might likely of all if you want to study this course. Okay, I don't understand what that means. Okay. In terms of teaching, can you teach on the squares or shapes for presentation or to design short stories? How did you bring in the picture? Okay. For short stories, that's not what the class is all about. The class is about teaching you how to design mobile apps and websites. So why I am doing what I'm doing currently is because I made a promise at the beginning of this class that I'm going to break it down to the simplest form, because for you to understand what magic is, you have to understand what is the meaning of magic. So and most of you might not be computer students, and most of you might not have been introduced to computer or tech prior to this class. So that's why I'm breaking it down and going to the basics level to ensure that you understand everything, and when you start making decisions, all these things I'm saying now will be coming to your mind and helping you make better decisions and understanding it. So in my other previous class, I asked you guys to study more on design elements and design principles. And I'm of the belief that you adhered to that instruction and you must have done your your due service on negligence. So I'm extremely tired at this point, but let me just repeat the picture upload and we could call it a day. So, how did I get the picture? How I got the picture is that I clicked on this place, image or video, I tapped on it. Then it opened up to my laptop interface. On my laptop, I had images download before. So I just tapped on the image and said open. So when it opens, Figma will ask me where do I want it to be placed. I will move or scroll and then tap I want it here. And with that, I have the image in my Figma space. So that is how I brought in the picture. So to round up this class, we are going to get into what Figma is all about. And Figma is all about designing. The major reason why we have Figma, rather, let me put it this way, is mobile apps and websites. And how do we do that? We don't design them on circles and square and shapes, no, frames. Then if I click on frames, we have frames. We have here, once frame is activated, we have these options showing you the different frame templates that Figma has. We have the phone, having Android to iPhone, different iPhone. We have tablets. If you want to design for a tablet application, you want to design for a desktop application, you want to design for TV, a size of what that you want to design for how that thing will look on a TV, you want to design for wireframes. So if you want wireframe, I'm coming first. Don't get confused. I'm coming. So if you want to design what a wireframe size of a desktop would look like, if you want to design for presentation, you have slide. You can create slides and put in the design elements and export as PDF. Then we also have for wristwatch. For people that have Apple wristwatch and you feel like you don't like the style of Apple wristwatch that you currently use, you could design a new interface for Apple, write to them, and maybe probably you come out as a millionaire or a billionaire. So you can design for Apple wristwatch, then you can design on paper. Just like I said, people use Figma to make graphics design because they already understand all what design is all about and they can manipulate these elements to get what they need to get. Then if you want to design for your social media post, flyer for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Dribble. You can also do that using Figma. Then we have the Figma community. The Figma community is a place where experienced designers have designed a lot of things and they upload it to the community so that new or other designers can just quickly get that thing and edit and proceed without needing to reinvent the wheel. So we also have the archives where you archive your things. But starting out, I know why I brushed down on this. So when we are starting out, we're starting out with the phone. So let me say I'm creating for iPhone 16 Pro Max. So if I tap on it, immediately I have a template for iPhone 16 Pro Max. So I wanted to bear in mind that everything will be going on from now henceforth will be inside an iPhone 16 Pro Max. We don't design on shapes, we design inside a frame. And iPhone 16 Pro Max is a frame. All those things I just ran down now are frames. The website, the desktop frames, and the rest of them. So the iPhone is serving like a plot of land. If I'm building my house, I build it on a plot of land, meaning that everything we'll be doing will be inside an iPhone for it to be useful. So that's why I'll be stopping the class for today. And it was a lovely ride, and I'm glad and happy that we were able to move to a certain and useful distance on today's class. It's almost running into 2 hours, and I'll see you guys on Friday where we'll explore more on the Figma frames and get to design something useful. So Cynthia said, how do I get access to the Figma community? I'll teach on that. But for now, I don't want you to have access to it. That's the truth. So I won't want that for you yet till I've made a certain milestone in ensuring that you've understood the normal process of doing it. Because getting access to the Figma community now is like you jumping, and it might affect your class progress. You might start thinking that you can always rush to there to take things. Why? It's not really useful. But in the time when you guys are ready, I will show you how to do that. But for now, this is where we are going to be stopping the class. And also remember that I've asked you guys to do some research on the UX aspect of Figma, and I'm of the belief that you've done that. And in other class, the first class, I asked you guys to do assignments on color element, design elements, and design principles. So I know why I'm repeating this because I will be asking for this assignment in the nearest future, a compilation of all the assignments I've given you guys. So I'm of the belief that you have a book and a pen where you take down these lessons and also do your assignments on. So have a wonderful day. Thank you, Amara. I'm so glad that we are going on this journey together. Don't worry, you will enjoy product design. Just like I said earlier, product designers are the superpowers of every tech team, because every ideas have to come from you guys first. Is what you design that developers get to implement. So currently there's no design, and you are being asked to create a design that solves this, solve this. Is the product designer that gets to work first. The developers might just be whiling away time playing while waiting for you to prepare what they're going to work on. So the superpower lies on the product designers to get things ready and hand over to the developers to develop. So it's a wonderful journey, and I'm so sorry if you don't have a laptop, but you need a laptop for this class. That's just the truth. You need a laptop. You need a laptop. You must have a laptop, unless you just want to waste your time and time and energy. You need a laptop. You either have a friend you could be borrowing from, or you just need to. And that's another part of being a product designer. Product design is all about solving problems. So I think you should put yourself under high pressure to provide an alternative to solve this problem. So one other thing about product design, that because as a product designer, the developers will not come and help you design what you need to give them. So everybody will just leave it to you. It's not left for you to provide solution and give to them. So, and this starts with mindset, the mindset you have that I am nobody's coming to save me. So I have to save myself. So I believe that you will have to look for alternatives. If this class is really, really important to you and you see a future for yourself where you believe that speaking to your future self 3 years from now, you are going to be proud of yourself, telling your future self that I didn't let the lack of laptop stop me from achieving this dream for us. So look towards finding solution for you, your current self, and your future self. Even when I started out, I didn't have a laptop too. When I started out, that was crazy. But I started out, and no, I started with graphics design. Well, graphics design helped me. I could use my phone for graphics design, and before, even when I became product designer, I didn't still have a laptop. I had to be using someone else's laptop, and over some months, I saved money to get my current laptop. So just like I'm advising, look for anybody closer to you, even if it's your enemy. Just swallow the pride and ask them. Let me be using your laptop so time of the night or so time of the day. And true success to no true journey to success is always easy. So it's time for you to shake off all the limiting beliefs, leave your comfort zone, just as if you're just in your mind, just feel like your life depends on this. And the energy you give to what is important to you is the energy it will give back to you. But if you're waiting to be saved all the time, that's not how the world works. So I empathize with you and I ask that you start looking around your environment to look for somebody to collaborate with or someone to utilize their own and just keep on the journey. So thank you very much. Okay, the second assignment is that I asked that you research about the jobs or the function of a UX designer and a and a UI designer. So difference between UI and UX designer, and also the design thinking process. What is design thinking process? If you're writing it down, what is design thinking process? What is user flow? What is wireframe? What is user flow? What is journey map? What is wireframe? What is a user persona? Yeah, you can add that one so that in our next class we can all flow together. So if you've captured that, I think that is that. And if you can be kind enough to arrange them and send them to the Discord channel for others to have access to, I would really appreciate that. So thank you very much and have a wonderful day. See you guys on Friday. Bye.